massage therapy, it's very important to be inwardly focused and aware of your own sensations within your body, within yourself, and knowing how to communicate that, because we hold so much tension in our bodies. Our bodies are like a map. And as the therapist, I can palpate people's physical maps of their body and be able to know where they're holding tension.
Welcome to Rooted and Rising, where we focus on becoming whole through the mind, body, and spirit. My name is Lamisa, and my guest today is Jasmine Roberts, and she's a massage therapist.
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Enjoying the day, visiting some family, and not enjoying the cold, but enjoying seeing them.
Why did you want to pursue a career in massage therapy?
I have really found a passion for being able to help people relax and ease the pain that they have. A lot of us have pain in our body that we really don't know the source of it. And whenever you go to get a massage, sometimes you'll find new trigger points in places that you didn't know hurt. And it's an educational session as well, because a lot of us don't know where that pain is coming from and what's causing that pain. So it's a practice that really helps you become in tune with yourself and become more knowledgeable about yourself and your pain.
Okay. How do you assess a client's need during an initial consultation?
That is a really good question. So initially, when I am receiving a new client, it's really having a conversation with them before we're even getting on the table. So I am looking to have a conversation with them and ask them about any medical history that they have, anything that's going on with them, even physically, like activities that they do, whether or not they're going to the gym, what type of workouts they're doing, if they're having pain, if they've had a recent car accident. Every little thing that we do with our bodies have an impact. And it can literally be down to something as simple as, like, if somebody has like a frozen shoulder, their shoulder is hurting, if they have if they carry a backpack or they carry a very heavy bag on that side subconsciously, or if they had just recently had a child and they have to carry their baby on one side, small information like that really helps to lead to what I know I need to do as the massage therapist and diagnose, what's going on with that person and how can I help, and come up with techniques of how I can help them throughout the session.
You deserve a break, and we have the answer. It's the Feed Your Soul Wellness Retreat in Hot Springs, Arkansas, April 29th through May 3rd, 2026. We've designed this retreat for you to unplug, detox, reconnect, and restore the mind, body, and soul. With a guided excursions and designated free time, you will head back home rested, connected, and redirected, giving you the energy you need to make the best of 2026. Click the link below. We can't wait to retreat with you.
What are the most common areas your clients want you to focus on?
Neck and shoulders, lower back. Those are the most common areas.
What techniques do you use to help clients shift from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic state?
That's a really good question as well. That's going from being in a fight or flight mode where you are constantly aware of your surroundings and not in a comfortable state of mind, to shifting into a relaxed state of mind. Because when you're in a more relaxed state of mind, you're able to get more work done in your body of relaxing. So some things that I do in order to get a client to that state of mind, one is all about first just environment, having a peaceful environment for the person to step into, where the lighting is not too bright it's not too dim to where they feel uncomfortable. Having things in the room such as aromatherapy to help calm the senses of smell. So we have sight and smell. Um, and then also just the way that I am approaching them, the way that I am communicating with them, and me being calm myself and helping to reflect that out of them. So initially, like, these are things that I do to calm the person's nervous system. And once we are on the table and we're starting the session, I'm always asking if the person feels comfortable after I've done the draping, if they feel comfortable, if they're ready to begin. And we typically will start out slowly and initiate like physical contact of me doing my first like effleurage stroke on them and gauging their pressure. That's another thing that makes a person feel comfortable and come out from a fight or flight mode, is making sure that as the therapist that I'm not applying too deep of a pressure where they feel uncomfortable, but also applying enough pressure to where they feel that there's actual therapeutic work that is getting done. So to answer your question, it's really hitting the senses of that person when it comes to sight, smell, touch, to calm the nervous system down. And I typically like to engage with my client as much as they like to engage. I know that some people are really, you could say, chatty Cathys, where to make them feel comfortable, they feel like they need to talk, and also in a session, it is therapeutic where like people feel the need to have an emotional response to let go of their physical tension. So that can be them talking about what's going on in their life, situations that they've gone through recently, and they are communicating about it and talking about it and releasing that emotional trauma. So as the therapist, I'm helping to engage in that conversation and allow them to let go of that emotional stress that they're holding on to on the inside. And also as a therapist, I am being aware of my client, and if they're the type of person that doesn't like to communicate like that, they are not, a chatty Cathy. They prefer to just have a quiet session. It's important to know, engage that for each person, because each person is different. So I tailor my, conversations and tempo to theirs.
So, if you were more introverted, how would you teach yourself that process of having a chatty cat?
Honestly, that's a whole separate topic because I am an introvert and I have worked on how to communicate with people over years of my career. So, a little background: before I've become a massage therapist, I have been in the photography industry, and I've been in leadership roles where my job entails me to communicate with people, and correct people and work with them to become a better, employee, a better version of themselves. But throughout that process, because I am an introvert, I've had to learn how to communicate with people. And so for me, in the massage therapy realm, um, I would just say it is important for me to, one, just have confidence in myself of my communication and connect with people on simple things and not overthink, because I'm an introvert and an overthinker sometimes. So it's really just finding those common points with people, and keeping the ball rolling on certain topics. And sometimes I've realized, especially with Chatty Cathy's, is that it's not necessarily about me, and especially in a massage realm, it's not about the therapist, it's about the client. It's client focused. So most of the time it is engaging with them on the topic that they want to talk about, and encouraging them to speak more, and pinpointing certain things that they're saying in their conversation, in their verbiage, that I can relate to, and picking up on that and talking about those subjects.
Can you describe a transformative moment during a massage session?
Absolutely. I've had a handful of very transformative moments with clients. One aspect, it's allowing them to have an emotional release along with their physical release. So as I engage with the client more, I'm beginning to understand their patterns, their habits, and also how they hold tension in their body. I have had a client who, well, when I am in a session with the person, I begin to notice their breathing patterns. And a lot of us sometimes tend to hold in our breath instead of fully exhaling. Or we also don't breathe in all the way deeply enough to have deep breaths rather than having shallow breaths. So in a therapeutic session with a client, um, we are, I'm, I am observing that and allowing them the space to breathe fully, breathe deeply, and release the emotions that they're having on the inside. And again, that relates to your first question, just of going from a parasympathetic state to a sympathetic state, and releasing and relaxing that stress. And once we are able to do that, you can, as the therapist, you can feel the shift of that person releasing the stress in their body. And as we say, the knots or the adhesions will begin to go down, and the blood circulation in their body begins to go up, and their relaxation state of mind begins to go up. So a lot of times it does take time. It happens more towards the end of the session, depending on the client. But there are a lot of transformative states that come, and it looks different for each person.
Okay. How do you establish safety and consent throughout a session?
Safety and consent throughout a session really has to deal with communication. When we move to another part of the body, it's important to restate the question of pressure, because each part of our body will handle pressure differently. Our back, for example, can handle more pressure than, let's say, our quadriceps. So it's really just about communicating with the client, but also being observant of the client and their reactions. Because a lot of the times we will feel something, like the client will feel something, but not say something. So it's important to be observant of the client and their body language, and observing how they are reacting to the technique.
I like the way you keyed on technique because I love massages. And so I've been to several massage therapists. And like you said, it has to be about communication. And some would ask and some would not. And then the pressure points. So, talk a little bit more about the pressure points that you feel you have to focus on when you're doing a massage.
Okay, understood. So it really depends on what the client is coming in for. If they are saying that they have neck and shoulder pain, if they're saying that they have lower back pain, automatically my mind goes to trigger points in those areas of the body that I know that I would need to focus on. For example, if somebody is coming in with lower back pain, a lot of us don't realize how much stress and tension we hold in our glutes. And for someone who has never had glute work done, it will feel unfamiliar. However, a skilled therapist will assess that area and help to release that area for the client. We have a lot of muscles that attach to our glute muscle, our iliac crest bone that is in that region. And when we release that area, it will help release lower back pain. So it's really just focused on where the client is saying that they have pain and knowing the trigger points for that area.
Okay, explain Gouliac crest because we don't know what that is.
Yeah. So in our hips, in our hip bone, um the iliac crest is just the shape of your hip bone. And it's an important attachment site for a lot of muscles. So as the massage therapist, it's important to know where a muscle originates and where it attaches to. And when we're having pain, somebody is having pain in those areas, it's important to hit either the where it inserts or where it originates to. So the iliac crest is just a bone in our pelvic region, that a lot of muscles attach to.
That is some great information right there. They say we have a lot of trauma in our hips. So, can you explain about the emotional release from that trauma?
I love that you asked that question. I've had a client who has had a lot of tension in her hips. And as we worked with each other throughout the session, I was able to inform her about the muscles that we have in our hips. And so we spoke on fight and flight earlier. A very important muscle that is associated with that is our psoas muscle, which originates in our lumbar spine, so our lower back spine, L3 and L4, and it attaches into our pelvic region, and it is constantly tight in a lot of people. And the reason is because what the motion of that muscle does, it helps assist whenever you are sitting, when you are running, if you're sleeping in a fetal position. So it helps to lift our leg and propel us forward. And a lot of times in our everyday society, we are doing a lot of those actions. We are sitting down at our desks, we're sitting in our car, and that muscle is constantly activated. However, we don't deactivate the muscle, we don't relax the muscle enough. And that muscle is involved in our fight and flight response. Thousands of years ago, when the human species, it was important for us to be able to run at a moment's notice if a bear was chasing us, or if we were in the wild and something important happened to where we needed to be in a fight or flight response. That muscle activates. Now, in today's society, that muscle is activated because of our activities, but we don't carry out the motion of running. We don't carry out the motion of what it's activating for. So, in a session, as I've gotten to know this client more, I was curious if that muscle was tight. And with her permission, I penetrated that muscle, and it allowed for an emotional release within her. And to the point that she was fully unaware of how activated that muscle was. And once penetrated and released, she had an emotional response and a gratitude afterwards.
What if wellness wasn't just about your body, but about your whole life feeling good? The 2026 Wellness Powered by You digital planner is designed to empower every part of you with weekly insight, questions that guide your inner growth, and reflection space to help you honor your journey. True wellness means a calm environment too. In your new 2026 planner, you'll find quarterly prompts for closet cleanout, home deep cleans, and car maintenance checklists to keep your space as clear as your mind. This is wellness powered by you. Be organized, be intentional, and leave 2026 a different person than you entered. Get your 2026 planner now at the link below.
What's one wellness practice or boundary you've implemented that has made a real difference for you
In my own personal life,
in your own personal life? Yes.
there are a lot of personal boundaries that I have implemented throughout this practice, that I've learned to implement because I am a empathetic person and I connect very easily with people. And as a therapist, it is hard to not carry that weight for somebody else. And so I have begun the practice of one, just I've heard this theory of washing your hands with cold water after each session and washing your all the way up to your forearms with bare cold water, because that's going to shock your nervous system back into the present moment. And then of course carry out the regular washing of the hands, but it allows you to regain, just focus on yourself after a session with somebody. And then also I practice grounding as much as I can. Any time that I have time to myself after a session, also just beginning my day, in the middle of my day, at the end of my day, am going outside. I am exposing myself to some vitamin D from the sun. I'm drinking water. I am continuously hydrating myself. In this practice as a massage therapist, it's so important to take care of yourself, because most of us, our goal is to take care of other people, help them. But to do that, you have to pour into yourself first. And to do that, I have begun the practice of waking up early in the morning to give myself time before stepping out into my day. Um, so I am stretching. I am drinking my coffee, not being rushed. I'm drinking water. I'm eating my breakfast. And throughout my day, I'm making sure that I'm eating nutritious meals to give myself the energy and the calories that I need in order to burn and work with a person in a session. So it's very important to have a really good wellness practice and routine for yourself. And then also at the end of the day, when I'm done with my day, I'm done with all of my clients, I immediately, a lot of us feel very exhausted because it's very physical work. So I begin to replenish myself. I'll take an Epsom salt bath at home to release my muscles. And, I'll go on a walk and I will de-stress and decompress. So it's very important for a massage therapist to have a well-rounded wellness practice for themselves in order to be successful in this career.
So, have you ever felt like you have someone has passed you their energy, even in a spiritual way?
That is another really good question. The answer is yes. And the reason that that can happen, one is that we are um, just physical. Of course, we're physical beings, and also on an energetic level, we each of us have this energy about ourselves, you can say. And when someone comes in, me myself, I'm a very positive person. And I typically carry very positive energy. And when I personally have engaged with a client who I can tell upon first contact seemed very negative, seemed very down. And of course, this is a therapeutic session, so this is probably what this person is coming to release. So it is important for me. I've had to learn practices of how to not allow that person's or that energy to affect me, because it does and it can, and it has for me in the past, to where after a session I have felt extremely drained, extremely tired, more than normal. And in order to let that energy go, I do the grounding practices of, what I've said, of going outside, taking time to relax, and, washing my hands with very, like, a cold plunge of water. Um, but also throughout this process, I have learned just to not take on other people's energy, allow them the space to be able to relax and release that. But it's not my job as the therapist to release that for them, or to even take that on from them. Um, we each have our own things going on in our own personal lives, and it's important for us to work through those as an individual. But it's not my job to take that on for somebody else, if that makes any sense. So I have had to learn practices of boundaries, of learning how to create boundaries with people.
Yes, totally understand. So we talked a little bit about your photography already, but tell me about your photography experience.
Yeah. I definitely think that it is a good transition into massage therapy, because as a photographer, I am engaging with people one on one, getting to know them, and I'd like to do portrait photography. So I'll go either in a studio session with clients, or out into nature, where we're going to a park or so, and we're in nature and we're taking photos. But in that field, I learned to become very observant of people's body language, um, expressions, and I've learned to communicate to them how, like, how to pose, because in not only that, but also how to make them feel comfortable. That's another thing that really applies in this career as well, is learning how to make somebody feel comfortable, because a lot of these times people have never done these things before. I've never come to get a photo shoot before. I'm nervous. I don't know, where do I put my hands? Where do I look? Same thing in massage. It could be somebody's first time ever getting a massage. I don't know, you know, I'm not comfortable in this setting. What do I need to do? So, as the therapist, as the photographer, it's important for me to be able to really engage with people and allow them to be in a level of a good comfort zone with me, so that their full, personality can come out, their full relaxation can come out, to where it's beneficial for them.
What do you want more people to understand about therapeutic value of intentional professional touch?
I would like more people to understand the importance of self awareness. The reason that I say that is because in our society today, I believe that it's very outwardly focused, whereas in therapy, massage therapy, is very important to be inwardly focused and aware of your own sensations within your body, within yourself, and knowing how to communicate that, because we hold so much tension in our bodies. I always say our bodies are like a map. And as the therapist, I can palpate people's physical maps of their body and be able to know where they're holding tension. But that's somebody from the outside physically touching and saying, this is where you're holding tension. But you as the individual should be aware internally of where you are holding pressure and the story that tells. Because for myself, as I've become a massage therapist, I have learned so many things about myself throughout this process of where I hold tension in my body. And then the next question is, why? Why do I hold tension there? And I begin to become self-observant and say, oh, that's why I hold tension there, because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And so then I can ask myself, do I need to do X, Y, and Z? Or can I change the way that I'm doing that to have a better posture while I'm doing that? For example, sleeping. Sleeping is one of the most important things we do as humans, 8 hours a night, ideally. And if you think about it, become aware of what position your body is in for 8 hours every night. Is it comfortable? Do you wake up in the morning feeling stiff and stuck? Or do you wake up in the morning and you feel refreshed and vibrant? And so I would encourage people to start there. Start there and become really self-aware of each motion that you are doing throughout your day. How you sleep, how you carry your bag, how you pick up something heavy, things of that nature. And then you will start to pinpoint and realize why you are having this ongoing pain in this certain area of your body. And then you as an individual can begin to work on that yourselves. Because I will say, massage therapy is a phenomenal industry and it has very good outcomes for people in helping to relieve their pain and stress. However, as an individual, it's very important for you. Massage therapy is just one added tool to your toolkit. Whereas the things that you do in your individual everyday life is what's going to contribute to the most change and success in feeling better throughout your body.
How can the audience get in contact with you, Jasmine?
Absolutely. So of course, anybody can reach me through my personal phone number. Um, and they can contact me for photography. I am in the San Antonio area, as well as massage therapy. And they can reach me through my phone number, which is 972-748-7145. And we can talk about whatever their needs are when it comes to massage therapy or any photography session that they may need. And I'd be happy to be able to help.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Jasmine. You be blessed.
Thank you. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. And I appreciate you inviting me out and being able to speak with you.